Go on, everybody. Lennox here from Simple 123 Trader. It is the first day of April.
Yep.
Tuesday, April the 1st. And I've just made $100 million this morning. And if you believe that, then you know that you've been April fooled, right? So,
oh, shucks.
yeah, really. $100 million trading the NASDAQ this morning. All right. Okay, so let's see what we've got going on for today. We have let's take a look at the news here. I'm going to switch over here. Give me 1 second. All right. The news today, March 31st, it's the 1st of April. We did have some red news. USD ISM manufacturing PMI and JOLTS job openings.
What was the JOLTS? Is that okay? That looks like it was positive.
It was in line with what they were expecting.
Oh, the JOLTS was
it's pretty close to what they were expecting.
Indices.
Sorry?
The JOLTS was positive for the indices.
Mm-hmm. Everything seemed to be in line with expectations.
Manufacturing PMI was positive for the indices.
Yeah. So, yeah.
The orange one was good for the currency, and spending was good for the currency.
They were forecasting 0.3 for the spending, construction, and it was 0.7, so a little higher than expected, but all right, so let's take a look at the US dollar versus Euro US dollar. And what we have is a weak US dollar and a strong Euro US dollar. So again, for all those who are playing the currencies, whenever the US dollar is weak, like in this case, then all the major currencies like Aussie, Euro, GBP, New Zealand US dollar will be strong against it, and the USD CAD, USD Swiss, USD JPY will be weak against the US dollar. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look at a quick look at gold. And gold is I'm going to go to the hourly. Gold was had quite the drop here in the last 3 hours here. So and silver also collapsed. Oil also taking a drop. So all with the US dollar dropping as well. So if I take a look at the US dollar on the hourly, again, you can see that it's taking quite the drop here. So, and if we look at Euro US dollar again, that should be up, and GBP US dollar would be up, and so on. So, all right, quick look at Tesla. Tesla has made a big, strong move to the upside. Tesla looks pretty good there. Tesla looks pretty good, except for one thing. We do have a 1, 2, 3 here, so we could be very well done at this point and looking to come back down again. So,
yeah, I caught the move up.
Very nice, Peter. Glad to hear that.
Good to hear. Yes, nice going, Peter.
Let's see how Bitcoin did. Bitcoin, big strong move to the upside here as well. Looks very strong, Bitcoin. However, when we go to the 4-hour, we see a little problem because we have a 1, 2, 3 here. So with this drop, we could also be coming back down again. So we have a gap right here, which we've just touched. So this could be pointing to the end of the move. And if I go to the NAS and S&P on the 4-hour, we've got a similar move, drop up into this area, into this gap on the from the 4-hour standpoint, 4-hour gap here. I've got a daily gap marked off as well. We're inside that. And so this could be the end of the move, and we could be coming back down again. So we're looking for possible turnaround. So I'm going to go step down 1 hour. We've come almost into the middle of the 4-hour gap. And if you mark a 1-hour gap, there's a 1-hour gap right here. And we just touched into the 1-hour gap as well. 30-minute. Nice move to the upside. So you can see that the overall structure, we kind of went up. Very choppy looking affair, taking that, sweeping these highs. There's actually waves in here, of course, and so on. I was showing Marquis yesterday on the 15-minute time frame what this all looked like. From my point of view, was that we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then we could possibly come down, take out these lows, and then make a run for the middle of that gap. So this is what they did, but you can see they did it all in a weird kind of way, and that's the tricky part. You know, they're not just going to go straight, of course. So now we've come very close to the middle part of that gap, and I think we should be heading back down. So the 5-minute, big, huge move, and again, the same kind of structure here, just like what we just drew on the 15. That's the move, sweeping the high, coming back down, sweeping the low, coming back up into a gap, looking for price to come down, taking out these lows and so forth. So that would be what I'd be looking for. We just, our 4-hour bar just opened at 10 o'clock. So let's go to the 1 minute, and we'll look at this in a closer manner. So what we're looking for right now is an entry on the wick. If we can get an entry on the wick, then we can take a ride on the bar all the way down on the 4-hour bar. And that 4-hour bar should be going down to take out this low. So I can't draw there, but that you get the idea. So this would be a 4-hour bar. So we'd be looking for it to take out this low down here, if we can get in on that wick. All right, so let's go in on the 1 minute. And we might have missed our opportunity already, but so we open right here, and there's the wick. And so that's the wick here. I was kind of expecting them to go through and take out this high one more time here, but they've dropped it back quite quickly back into this gap. So can we bounce from here and go back up one more time? That's a possibility, but looking like a low probability now because of the fact that we've dropped so quickly here. Let's see how S&P looks at the same spot. The same type of drop. So I was thinking based on this overall structure here that we would do a move up and take out the highs and then start coming down. But so they've dropped it back like we see. So can we make another climb back up? It's a possibility, so we'll see. All right, let's see how Tesla looks at the same spot. Tesla's the same. You can see that the structure coming down is really nice. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're moving back up 1, 2. So it looks like this is a fourth wave, and we should go up and take out the highs one more time. So that's what I would expect. So let's see if that occurs. All right, and for those out on YouTube, thanks for joining us. This is all for educational purposes only. We're not advising anybody to take any trades. Do so at your own risk. If you like what we're showing you, we're doing a play-by-play, bar-by-bar type analysis. And please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. What we're looking for, we're the 1, 2, 3 traders. So we basically are looking for 1, 2, 3 tops and bottoms. And what constitutes a 1, 2, 3 top or bottom is a little pattern like that. That's a 1, 2, 3 top. And then for a 1, 2, 3 bottom, which is not very clear here, this would be considered a 1, 2, 3 bottom. It can be as little as 3 candles. It can be as many as candles as you want, really, depending on the time frame. So there's another one. There's another 1, 2, 3 bottom there, and that consists of 4 candles. This one consists of 3 candles. Here's a 1, 2, 3 top here that consists of 1, 2, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles. And essentially, all we're looking for is a high, a low, and another high, and or a low, a high, and a low, and that's it. And we're looking for, when we do get a low, a high, a low, this is our 1, this is our 2, this is our 3. That's a 2. That's a 2, guys. It's a 2. It really is. Let me do that again. That's a 2. So once we get our 3, there are just a number of rules, and the rule is number 3 cannot be lower than number 1. That's the number 1 rule. And that's basically the rule, right? That's basically the number 1 and steadfast rule that number 3 cannot break number 1, otherwise it's not a 1, 2, 3. And then we want to see price move down to number 3 from number 2 into about a 50 to 60% retrace area. 50 to 62% is the ideal retrace from number 2 to number 3. Okay, so that's a measurement from here to here, and then the retrace back down 50 to 62%. That's the ideal. This is great for an entry, and then we're off. And targets can be the number 2 point and higher, and we look for targets up to 1.0 up to 1.618 ideally. And you could even go to 2.0, depending on how aggressive you are and so forth. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking for. We've also incorporated ICT, a couple of ICT methods. And that's using fair value gaps. So if there's a fair value gap on the number 1 to 2 leg, if there's a fair value gap over here, that's a bonus. And we also use order blocks. So if there's an order block here, that's also a bonus. So an order block with a fair value gap is ideal, but we can stick with 50 to 62% retrace with or without order blocks or fair value gaps. That's what we look for. So that's our 1, 2, 3 method in a nutshell. And it's a simple concept. So we call it the simple 1, 2, 3, but it's not an easy thing to trade because 1, 2, 3s appear everywhere on the chart. They're everywhere. They're here, it's here, it's here, and so on. So you have to know which 1, 2, 3 you want to take. You can play any 1, 2, 3, but it doesn't mean that you're going to make any money with it. Right? So. All right. So here's a good example of what I'm referring to. There's a 1, 2, 3 right here. So that would have been a nice entry anywhere in that area. And another 1, 2, 3, again, another entry in that area. And we could wait for another 1, 2, 3, or it could just take off without giving us another 1, 2, 3. So, and target would
go the other way.
I'm sorry?
It's supposed to go down.
It could be going down. We have a 1, 2, 3 here. We have another 1, 2, 3 here. We've dropped, so we could be just chopping, and we could be taken out easily. So you have to be aware of where you are on the chart and to be able to make that decision as to which one you want to trade. So these are all the little nuances. That's why it's a simple 1, 2, 3, but it's not an easy 1, 2, 3. That's the NAS. Let's see how the S&P did here. I would bet that S&P gave us a break of the low. Let's see if it did do that. No, it did not. Wow. Okay, so we didn't get. They're both doing the same thing. We didn't get a sweep. So if we had a sweep here, that would be a little bit more of what we'd be looking for. That drop to take out the low, and then we'd move back up. But they didn't do that. You know, on the NAS, they didn't do that either, and yet we're heading back up. So quite interesting. So it's possible that we might be coming back down to take out these lows, rather than heading up to take out the highs. Because we are looking for a structure. The structure that we're looking for, we get a 1-2, and then another big move, another move down, and another move up. This is our structure that we're looking for. It's a structure that can be short, can be long. Here's the entire structure here. We get 1-2. There's the structure coming down. So we can come down like that. And we can go back up that way. So the structure going up would be something like this. And looking for that to take out these highs. So we're struggling right now to do that. And we could come back down one more time here before we go up, and that would give us a structure in here like that. And then we'd be looking for a structure to go back up like that. So we'll see if that plays out. So first off, I'm looking for a breach of these lows. Let me draw that line again. Once I get a breach of the lows, I'm going to keep moving my chart over a little bit. Once I get a breach of the lows, I want to see a turnaround, 1, 2, 3, and that would take me up to take out these highs and these highs. I told George not to let me leave at 10 minutes to 4 today, to stay, of course, not leave before, right at the macro at 10 to, like I did yesterday. So I just want to show you guys, I've been trading, I was trading last night. I had 12 wins in a row before going to bed. So let's see if I can keep my record going. I think I had a loss coming up right there. And there's my loss right there. Can't come down a little bit here. There we go. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 wins consecutively. So I want to see if I can keep that going this afternoon here. And I was playing Bitcoin primarily there. I think that was all Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure it was. No, it was the NAS. I played NAS and Bitcoin last night. So the NAS. Oh, there's some Bitcoin there. Yeah, so I was playing both and doing pretty good in it. It was really rocking there last night at London Open. So I stayed up too late till after 1 o'clock in the morning, my time. So I was hard pressed to get up for this morning session. Could not. So.
You and me could have traded together. I was up till 2.
Going till 2. Wow, you're a diehard, eh? Wow. You can hail me anytime in the evening there, Stacy.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right, so we got our breach of the lows. That's what we were looking for. So now that gives me my structure. So I've got a 1, 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. So again, our structure, we're looking, we call this a 1, 2, 3 here. However, we are using Elliott wave theory, and so in Elliott wave, this is a 1, and this is a 2. And then this would be a 3, and this would be a 4, and this would be a 5. So these are waves. So we have 1 wave, 2 waves, 3 waves, 4 waves, and then 5 waves. And now we'll be looking for a turnaround, move back to the upside. So I'm going to buy this right now because I've got a fractal, which gives me a move that should take me back up. So a fractal is low, a higher low, and it's also called a swing low. And a fractal high would be a swing high, and 2 lower highs. And so I'm looking for price to continue up now and breach this high right here. So if I'm wrong, my stop would be below the low. In this case, I would be taken out at that point. And that's all there is to it. So should I put my stop on? I really hate putting my stop on, but I'll put it on. I'm telling you guys that I hate to put my stop on, but I wouldn't recommend that you don't put a stop on. It's always a good idea to put a stop on, just in case, because all of a sudden you could be wrong and price could be sweeping down, taking out these lows. The next thing you know, you're crying because you're in huge drawdown, expecting this move to the upside. So it's well worth taking a smaller loss than a big loss. So reason I'm taking this entry is because if I look on a seconds chart, this is a seconds chart. So this entire move in here is right in here. So on the seconds chart, I've got a 1, 2, 3. And I'm looking for price to move up. So I don't want to see them take out this low. I just want to see price move up now and continue up. So in here, the fractal low or the swing low is actually a 1, 2, 3. So anytime you see a swing high or a swing low, it's in effect a 1, 2, 3 movement. So I could call that a 1, 2, 3 that's ready to go. So I can jump in at that point. Doesn't mean I'm right, you know, because right now it's looking like I'm wrong because it's chopping up and down. So they look like they want to take me out. So they're chopping up quite a bit here. So it looks like I could be in jeopardy and that they could go through one more time. So what that means is that I'm in here, that this move down is just into a 4th wave and they still have one more drop to come. And so I might have been a little early getting in on that 1, 2, 3, which looks pretty good there, but doesn't mean that I'm correct. The longer they stay in here, the worse it is for you. You want to see price leave out of here quickly. If it's a true 1, 2, 3 bottom, we should be leaving quickly. We shouldn't be hanging around in here for a long period of time. So this is sometimes one of the criterias that we watch out for. So very close to taking me out there. It looks like they might have broken the low actually. Let's just see if that is so. On the minute chart, they don't look like they've taken that low. 374.5 looks like a tie. 374.7. No, just by a little bit they didn't take it. But it looks like they did it on the seconds chart. So this is how interesting this is. You get different, this is a different broker, so you get a different candle at the bottom here. So on this broker, they took the low, but on this broker, they did not. This is Oanda, and I'm not sure what broker this is. Netdania. So yeah, it's a totally different broker. So they give you different candles here. All right, so let's see if I can be correct and we can move out Although I'm not liking this at all because it's too choppy. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should exit stage left out of this trade. Okay, I'm having a hard time here. Okay, not going anywhere. Chart's not moving.
I don't like the way this is playing.
Yeah, it's a bit testy in here. We do have another 1, 2, 3 here, so another one here, so we should push up. That's the kind of bar you do want to see right here. That's a nice engulfing bar. So if we can continue pushing up, if we take that engulfing out, then I could be in trouble big time here. So it looks like they're coming to take out the lows. So this would be, yeah, looks like I might be done in the water here now.
That limit spiked down and hit my limit. So I'm out now.
That's why I'm not moving. Okay, so I'm still alive, but barely.
Staying in this area. Are you still alive, Lennon?
Just barely. You're trying to get out of there. I'm not liking it though.
Yeah, well, I was looking for it to go down, so it took my limit and took me out. But I don't like the way these bars are forming at this point. The overall effort does seem to be more to the downside, but it could easily swing either way.
I need to take out these highs for me to feel good about this. We can take out these highs here. But it's very much sideways right now. So it's looking like we have a 1, 2 in here, and this is just chopping, and we could drop through one more time before if we're going to get this move up. So, like I say, I could be in jeopardy there. Could have gotten out here. I'm trying to give it one more shot, but maybe I might be doomed. It looks like I'm going to be doomed here because we have equal lows here, so they're going to take them out more than likely.
Haven't yet.
So if we get back up here, I'm going to close the trade because I don't like it.
No, I don't like the trade either.
I've gone 7 bars now, and I haven't gotten out of here. So
yeah, that's when I usually say sayonara, no matter where I'm at.
I'm gone.
Oh.
So they did take the low again. So that's what I mean by I'm going to go back to the seconds chart to show you. Even though it looks like a nice 1, 2, 3, and you're looking for that move up, they've chopped it up so much. They're looking to take out the lows one more time. So this is what occurs. So the sweep of the low, I will jump in again. That's my first loss in 12 and 13, so not bad, but I hate losing. So I see what they're doing, so I'm back in again. So they just swept the lows one more time.
Yeah, you see the way this is playing. I mean, we're just consolidating now. consolidating with an emphasis to the lower side at this point. But I just don't like to play. We might have a good 2 o'clock alcohol trade coming up, you know. So almost better to wait for that. Try to figure out what this thing wants to do.
Getting a nice move here now. And that's what I wanted to see happen the first time. But they had to take out the lows first. So there's a nice move. So I've made my loss back pretty quickly. So I'll take a partial on that. And let the rest go here. So I'll put my stop right here. So I'm going to look for a retrace and I'll add to my position into this gap here. So if next candle, I'll wait for the next candle to open. And if we get a retrace back into this gap, I'll add to my position to continue going. So how's Tesla doing there? Tesla's doing the same thing. Fourth wave mashup there. S&P. You can see how S&P came down in a, you know, this angle S&P came on compared to the NAS, which angle was much flatter. I can get back to the NAS here. Come on, there we go. So you see how the angles are so different. So we might not retrace to this gap.
You know, I'm just thinking that the low at 1:20 Eastern time might be the bottom of wave 5, or it could be the low at 129 is the bottom of wave 5.
So there's our 1, 2, 3 now. We've got a sweep.
Yeah.
We've got a sweep. We've got to pull back into the gap, which is around the 50 to 62% retrace. So this is a great buying opportunity.
Beyond the gap now.
If they go through, we don't want to see them go through that gap. So there is a gap there still, you know, technically speaking. So we don't really want to see them. So they've closed below the gap, which is not a good thing. But there's also an order block here. So we're still inside the order block. So we could still see this move back to the upside. But I didn't like that last drop there. That's not very good. So I could get taken out here. I'm not below the low. I'm below the middle candle that formed the gap. Technically, I should be at the low. So I could get taken out here. And I did. So let's see if they take out the low, which they shouldn't, if we have a legitimate 1, 2, 3. So if this is legitimate, this low will stay intact, and it's not. So we got taken out again. So they're really playing games here. So they did this move, and now they're taking out the low again. Wow. So it's very unusual movements here. So this gap is no good. Actually, I could leave that gap because now that can become an inverted gap. So I'll leave that there. Okay, so I'm looking for another entry again to go long. So this is a tie here. So now the fractal is a little tougher, but we did sweep that low. This is the low candle. So the next candle, okay, so that's a buy again. So I'm going to buy it at that point to continue going up one more time here. See how this looks on the 5-minute. So on the 5-minute, it's showing essentially a 1-2 here. So I'm looking for price to push up to take out this high and this high. So this is our 1, 2, 3 on the 5-minute. This is our number 1 point, our number 2 point, our number 3 point at this point. At this point, there is a small gap there. We retraced back 50 to 62% area, and we're looking for a move out. If we take out this low, then that voids our 1, 2, 3. So my stop now would be at the lows here, which is quite a distance really. There's a gap right here. So I'm going to use this gap as a possible support to continue going up. So price can come back and touch this gap and push off to go up. So again, we're getting another 1, 2, 3 at this point. So we're looking for something like that, but we'd like to see them take out this high. That would give us a bigger 1, 2, 3 back into this current gap right here, and then a bounce to the upside. So this would be an inverted gap as well. This was a very sneaky play on their part here, where they came down and then they chop it up. And you see how they chopped it, A, B, C, D, E, and they drop it down, take out the low one more time. So that's very sneaky play on their part. So we should go straight up now, take out this high, come back in and go. So I'm going to take a little something off again. Right here. Take a little something off now and look for a retrace again and add to my position. Same thing I just tried to do over here, but didn't work. So I'll try it again. So we're looking for a breach of the high, and we just have it. Now we have a break of structure. So we're looking for a retrace back into this gap. Now it's possible for them to come all the way down to this gap. We'll see what happens here. We do have a gap here, but I don't like that gap because it's too high. So I'd like to see them come through it into the lower, but they might not even do that. They could just take off and continue without retracing at all. So we'll see. We typically expect a retrace after a breach of a previous high. So we breach a previous high, we would expect a retrace, but it doesn't mean that you're going to get a retrace. So this little blip here might be sufficient for them to push price. So now actually my inverted gap is now here. So that might have been enough for them to touch that inverted gap right there. See, right at that green gap, for them to push price right up without even coming back into the inversion gap here. So I might have missed my opportunity to add to my position here, which is fine. I'm still in the trade, so it's all good. So I'll just put my stop into positive so there's no loss in this trade at all. It's still possible for them to retrace, so I don't want to put it too high up. So we'll need to take out this high. And then this high. Now we're getting a gap here. So we could retrace into this gap and continue going higher. So this is a gap that we could come into and continue pushing higher. So I should be able to move my stop up a little bit now. There we've touched into the gap now, so this could propel us higher. I could add to my position here if I felt need or urge or want. I could add to my position at this point. Do I want to do that? Let's see if we can come down to the middle of the gap. And that's okay, so that works. So I'll add to my position.
It went below that gap.
Looking for a push back up to this high now. Take out this one. Now they're coming down pretty quick here, so maybe I might be in jeopardy, and I am. So I brought my stop up too tight, unfortunately. I got taken out. So that's a possibility that they could come all the way back down to this gap. I thought maybe because we had this one, it would hold and continue pushing us up, but it did not. So
it went through that second gap too.
That's the risk you take sometimes. All right, so I'll jump back in again because I'm still confident we're heading up. So I'll wait for my fractal at this point. So they came right back into the middle, and actually they're coming all the way down. Wow.
Coming down to the order block now.
Yeah, so there's a gap here. So we're coming right back into it. So am I wrong? And we're just going to take out the lows,
actually a gap.
Or we're going to bounce here?
Yeah, I think you're into the order block right now. Yeah, you're into the order block.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's quite the retrace here. So let's see on the 5 minute. 5 minute is saying, you know what? I'm done. We're going to come through. It's possible.
Take a look at your 15 minute. That might be showing something.
Remember, I was saying that I don't think we're going to take this high out again. So I could see these two highs being taken short term, but I don't really see this high being taken. So are they done?
That high is my number 1 point on the 10-minute chart.
So on the 15, yeah, we're looking very lean here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm looking at.
So, you know, they couldn't take out this high. Quite interesting. So now my structure looks like this. And now we get a retrace. So this becomes a 1-2 in essence. And that might be the extent of that they didn't want to take this high out, which was quite interesting. I thought at least they would take this high out. But all right, so everything has changed now. We would need to see them break this low in order for us to consider this a change, you know, to be going down. So until that time, there's no need to be selling. However, what makes it tough now is that we could get a retrace back into this gap, the current gap here, and that's a sell really before they even break this low, because they haven't been able to take out this high. So this could now turn into a 1, 2, 3 top, and we're heading to the downside without taking out this low.
They did get into that gap.
They're into it. I'd like to see them go higher.
What? Yeah.
Looks like we should, yeah. A little higher still. So this could be a sell now to come down, but you take a risk that this is indeed a huge 1, 2, 3 bottom. We're heading straight up. So it's a bit of a tough situation here that we're in. A little bit of a predicament. Are we heading down or are we heading up? Right? So it was looking pretty good there. I thought that maybe we could make it to take out the highs, to take out this high, and to possibly take out this high. But all of a sudden, things have changed, and it looks like, oh, maybe we don't want to take out that high. We just want to come down and take out the lows. So either we can sell right now, boom, take the risk, we stop above or above the high, or we wait for them to break this low. So which one do we do? Very, very tough situation now. All right, so let's see on the 5-minute again. So 5 minutes, a little bit of dancing going on in here. See how S&P looks. S&P also similar. So they both look like they want to fall to take out the lows. See how Tesla looks. Tesla says, you know, I'm going up. So interesting. Tesla is bucking the trend and pushing to the upside, while the indices are looking to falter. So that means Tesla would likely take out its highs. Not a very good line there, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Tesla would take out its highs here and then could quickly come down. So that might be the ploy there for Tesla. And NASDAQ could be turning around right here. So I've got a fractal. Very tempting sell.
okay, NASDAQ is up plus 0.55% higher than yesterday's close. The S&P is plus 0.2% from yesterday's close, and the Dow is minus 1.16 yesterday's close.
So interesting that they came back to this gap. Did not go through it. We're getting this bounce. It's tempting to want to sell it. However, because they didn't go through this gap, it's really pointing to them taking out this high now. And this gives us a legitimate 1, 2, 3. So it's a very tough situation that we're in. We're in a very hard spot here.
I'm looking at the last 40 minutes as a consolidation period, basically, and it right now it looks like down is more probable, but it's not guaranteed because we're just moving from side to side.
I'm waiting to see which one they breach, the high or the low.
Yeah,
Looks like we're going to breach the high here.
And I'm thinking that since it's 51 minutes after the hour now, we might be waiting for the algo to see if it sets up. Maybe
So we're
down
into
to
the 10-2 macro right now.
Yeah, we're into the macro right now, but
So will we get a touch on this gap? Almost very close to getting a touch on that gap, but not going into it. So it looks like they want to take out the high.
well, it would be, you're looking for the intermediate high.
Mm-hmm.
And technically that's showing bear divergence to me. I'll sit and wait, see if the algo sets up.
I'd like to see them retrace back into this gap here. That would be nice. However, we do still have that big inverted gap sitting there, which is really in play. So it's quite interesting here. We're in the middle of that inverted gap. So they're coming back to this gap here. They do that, I'll take the buy because it looks like we want to go higher.
You have a 35 handle swing going on in each of these moves. So if we were successful on the 3 moves for 30 handles each, that would be 90 handles we'd have.
So I'll take a buy here. I'll put my stop below the gap here. They have to come down there to get me to be wrong. See if we can go back up now and take out the highs here. I'm going to look at the 5-minute again. So it's you can see we're in a very choppy, messy area. So this can go either way. We could drop through, or we could go back up and take out the highs one more time. I'm looking for them to go back up and take out the highs. At least these two. I don't know about this one, but certainly these two are in striking range. And this one is in striking range to the low. So quite interesting here. Let's see how it looks on the 1 minute again. So yeah, they're coming right back down into this gap. Don't want to see them even touch that gap, really. See if we can bounce back up. So yeah, this is a very sticky little situation here we're in. That's how you can lose your shirt if you're not careful. And pants. So looking for a bounce here off this gap. Just come back and touch the gap. Amazing. All right, so I have my stop just below the gap, so I could be in jeopardy unless we get a big bounce off it. And nope, not working for me at all. So this is harsh. Boy, they're playing some serious games here. So the gap is holding, but they just wick through.
You just wick through the order block.
You know, wicked stuff going on here.
But you have to remember, this is the macro. It's still in effect for another 5 minutes. So you have to be careful you don't break the next low down.
So this low is in jeopardy.
Yes, that's right.
Which was a thought that we could go through and take out this low. So I wasn't patient. I didn't wait for it.
Right now.
I didn't wait for either of the highs or the lows to be taken. I'm trying to jump in and ahead of them. And,
hit that.
So will they take that low? Looks like they did go through. Low is 368 even. This low is 368.5. So they did go through by a tad. Let's see how S&P did. S&P has not taken the low at all.
Mine hasn't taken it through yet.
So we're getting a little bit of divergence here, but I can see them coming down a little further and taking out a bit more. So yeah, so now we have a 1, 2, 3 top that looks like we're heading this way instead of that move that would take us back up. So quite interesting there. Thought maybe we get one more run to take out these highs real quick and then come down, but nope. So I'm getting chopped up here a little bit in a chopped up area. So on the bigger picture, we have a change of character to drop. We have a sweep. We have a retrace back into a gap. So everything is pointing to really a move to the downside here. We should be taking out these lows and continuing down. I thought perhaps they were going to be sneaky and take out this high one more time, and maybe even this one, and then drop us down. But they're playing games. Since we've taken this low here, if we can come back up into a gap, there's one up here. I'm going to take this guy off. So this is an inverted gap. There's a regular gap right there. So can we come back up here one more time? So now we're really taking out the low for sure. We might even close below.
We have closed below that. Well, no, it didn't close yet.
So we've got a change of character here.
But it blew through that low, though.
All right, so I'm looking for a retrace now back here, and that would be a good sell. So they
that would be a selling point at that, right?
Yeah. So they're playing very smart here and chopping everybody up, including me. So a really nice 1, 2, 3 setup here. And that gave us our sweep to the upside. Now we're looking for another 1, 2, 3 setup here. That will give us a sweep there. And then we should break to the downside.
Or it wants to leave without us.
We should get a retrace. I would expect one.
We have a gap in there that it can retrace into.
So this gap is no longer in play. We have. Can we get that retrace still? Maybe, maybe not, eh? So yeah, tempting, like I was saying, it was a tempting sell up here, but boy, it was a tough one when they put that gap in and look, okay, maybe they're gonna go one more time, but so they're very sneaky. All right, so let's see if we do get a retrace. I took the different tactic on Bitcoin and jumped in for the drop right at this point here. So looking for that to continue going down here. So Bitcoin's always saving the day more often than not. So they're not retracing for us.
Nope.
Nope, not at all. So there was a small gap right there, and that's all they did. They came back into that little gap, and that's it. So looking for a bigger retrace, but not giving it to us. So they really fooled everybody in here, including myself, and then dropped it straight through. So remember, I was saying it was a tempting sell in here, but I was a bit hesitant because I thought maybe, all right, they were going to do this and go back up one more time, but nope. So not to be. All right, so on the 5 minute, again, it was looking very lean there. So looking at the 5 minute sweep, they drop it down, they sweep this low, they push it back up into a gap. That's 50 to 60%, 62% retrace. Then they make another 1-2 without breaking the low first, though. Interesting there. And then they drop it through.
Oh.
So very, very, very good on their part there. Very good. So, all right, so my Bitcoin has reached my initial target already. So I'll take the profit on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin went down quite quickly. Now I'm going to go down to the 1 minute. So looking for them to come down to these lows, and we got down there, boom, I'm out. And so now I'd be looking for a retrace on Bitcoin. So a retrace of this move, so something like that, to jump back in again to continue going down. So you can see the structure here on the 1 minute. This was very nice. So they sweep, they drop back down. They didn't sweep this low first. They swept it after. They gave you the 1-2 here. So this is a sell down. So I caught it right in here, catch that move. So now they're swept these two. So I would be looking for a retrace to continue down. Otherwise, they'll just continue down without retracing. Similar to what the NAS did. So I'd like to see them retrace, but there's no guarantee they're going to retrace. Okay, so NAS is not retracing. Still possible for them to retrace, so you can't give up on that. Let's see how S&P looks. Similar. Similar but different. You see how you see how the Nasdaq came down, went back up, but did not break this low right there. At first, right here, and how the S&P did. See how the S&P is different. So if I had them both, I would have caught this better because the S&P broke that low, which is what I was expecting on the on the move down. Then we get the retrace. That's a sell right there. So the S&P was doing it the way we would expect it to do it. So I'm kind of going against myself in the sense that I should be really watching both these instruments when I'm looking to enter the trade, because I would have seen that S&P was doing it the proper way while the Nasdaq wasn't. So we're getting all divergences in here, and they're really they're very smart here in these areas. So we get a nice 1, 2, 3 there. Same thing there. So Nasdaq, S&P, a little bit different right here. Yeah, they don't take out this low here on the NAS. That's the key right there. They didn't take out this low. So I was looking for them to come down, take that low out, and then go back in. They didn't do that, but the S&P was doing it. So if I had been following the S&P, I would have realized, okay, they've already taken the low, so this is just a pullback to drop and not one to go back up again. But I wasn't watching both. All right, so now we're getting a pullback, so let's see how far back we come.
I almost got into the gap on the pullback. I need a good drop now.
No, they're not pulling back very much at all, eh? So lots of selling pressure going on here.
Wanted to drop now. I'm looking for the
We're into macro time.
What?
We're into algo time, I should say. 2 o'clock algo.
We're into the algo now.
Yeah, the algo is kicked in. So we could see a continuous drop here. But that's not much of a pullback here. I'm still looking for them to come back up one time. So we could still see a pullback. But maybe not. I'm looking for one on Bitcoin as well, and we're not getting one. Let's see how Tesla is doing at the same spot. So Tesla is still hanging in there a little bit.
If you look on the 30-minute NAS, Lennox, it looks like we're just filling a gap, and then we'll probably go up again.
Yeah, there's a gap there, certainly, but I do have a 1, 2, 3 top, so I think we're heading down to take out these lows.
Yeah.
I think that's the ploy here. You want to take out these relatively equal lows down here.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a little bit of a retrace to get in so I can catch this move, right? But I don't know if they're going to give us that. So our 1, 2, 3 top, if I go to the 15, our 1, 2, 3 top is in play. This is controlling the move now. So it's a likely scenario that we take out these lows.
Gotcha.
So be aware of that. Especially on the S&P, you can see it's a lot more pronounced because we had a double 1, 2, 3. So we got 1, 2, 3 here, and another one. So that's a lot more effective. Oops, a lot more effective play for the sell. Whereas on the NAS, again, it's a little different. See that they were higher. They didn't break that low with that low here. So it kind of fooled me thinking that, oh, maybe they're going to go up one more time. So if I was looking at both of them at the same time, I would have realized, oh, no, they're just this is just a fake out. So they're really gunning for these lows here. So once you put your fib on this 1, 2, 3, you can see where we're heading. So 1.618 to 2.618 down below these lows.
Yeah, I'm looking for the 2.618.
So still looking for a retrace. Will they give us one? Probably not at this point. Bitcoin's certainly not giving me one. And so we're in the 2 o'clock algo, and it kicked off the gap there, another gap, Another gap. So, all right, let's see if we could get one here. Possibility. Come back up to this gap, maybe. Better if they came up to this gap, but that might be a stretch.
I just wanted to fall to 2.618.
No retraces whatsoever. Yeah, that's super unfortunate that I got faked out here, because that's a really nice play to the downside. So good thing that Bitcoin saved me and gave me back some nice profits there. So Bitcoin setup is a little different than the NAS and the S&P, but a lot more what we were expecting. So Bitcoin setup on the 1 minute is the sweep, clean sweep. They drop it down. They don't sweep right here though, right away. They do give the retrace. So that looks like, yeah, we should be coming down rather than going back up to take out this high. Would have been nicer if they did sweep this low first and then go back up, but so now we're just gyrating. So I'm looking for a bounce back up, you know, about 50% here, and another entry to continue going down. So this would be an A and a B and a C and a D and an E leg.
It just went in to the gap.
So NAS is trying to give us a little bit of a bounce.
Well, it got into the gap. Yeah, it got into that gap.
So we'd like to see them come up to this gap at least.
Oh,
Because you want them to come above 50% if at all possible.
that's possible. But
You want to see them come up higher. There's
yeah,
another gap up here, but that might be a stretch for them to get up there. I mean, it's possible, but so you want to see them come up as high as possible, at least up to 50% anyways. So here, so looking at the distance from this high to here, 50% is right there. So if we're going to get a retrace, we want to see them come up here or even higher. Ideally, you don't want to be going into this one. Don't want to sell here. That's not good because they can then put you into drawdown up here. But this might be enough for them too, and they can just take off again. So if you risk an entry here, your stop would be right here. So you're in jeopardy. You see, if you take that sell, you're going to put your stop here. So they know that, so they'll just take you out. It's like these guys are snipers, and the stops are the enemy, and you peek your head up above the barricade to look to see who's shooting at you, and then you get shot in the head. That's the kind of analogy it is. Putting stops in is you're just a sitting duck most of the time. But this could work here. I mean, this could have worked. But sometimes it doesn't. So most of the time it doesn't, because we haven't had a deep retrace here.
Okay, it took me in this time.
So now we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can come all the way back up here. If we don't take this low out. Bitcoin says no, we're just heading straight down. So this NASDAQ might follow suit.
Now we're cooking.
Yeah, I'm not getting much retrace on NASDAQ either, on Bitcoin either. So let's see how S&P looks. So they're both the same. Haven't broken that low yet. But Bitcoin has broken this low. So Bitcoin's broken that low. We could still get a retrace, but they don't want to retrace. So we have a large 5-minute gap. We can't even come back up and touch that one. You see our 4-hour candle. We wanted to get in on that wick, remember? And then take the ride down. And it's coming down pretty quick. That was our plan. Get in on the wick and ride it down. So a little bit of a hiccup in here. So the macro has kicked in nicely. And we're slowly grinding down, not getting any retraces whatsoever. So it's not looking too good for a retrace here. Still possible. So we can see the structure playing out now. So we've got a 1, 2 here, another 1, 2, and then we get this drop. And so we could still get a retrace, still possible. And then a drop. So I'm not going to rule it out just yet. If that's the bottom here, then our retrace now comes right into the middle of the 5-minute gap. So if we can get a push back up there, that would be perfection for a sell. But I don't know if they're going to give it to us. So I've got a 1, 2 here, so we could drop one more time and then get that move.
I see it drop about 25 handles.
We take out the low one more time. All right, so maybe now we'll get that push back up. Well, they're going a little lower. Okay. So at this point, if I really feel that we're coming back up to this area, that would be a buy. That's 70 plus handles right there. You know, so I could go against the grain and do a counter trend trade here back up into this area, but it's a big risk because there's no guarantee that they're going to go way back up there.
Okay, I got one more left. Another 10 handles.
See if we get a fractal here. Very risque play here.
Almost. Keep going. Okay. Good deal.
Don't look like they want to bounce it back. S&P's just relentlessly down. Yeah, they're just going straight down. They're not even thinking about retracing here whatsoever. So might be a futile wait for a retrace at this point. Yeah. Okay, is this it finally? I'll wait for the next candle. So we've got a fractal. So it is a possible play back up into this 50% area, but it might be a stretch. So it's a tough play. Counter trend. So they would need to take out the high and push into this gap. And they're saying, no, we're going lower still. Wow. So they're not turning around at all. It's just a relentless down. So after 5 waves, we would expect a retrace here. We should be getting a retrace. So that's the expectation. So that's why I'm still looking for it. But there's, again, no guarantee that they will do it. It's just an expectation. All right, so let's see if this might be it this time. So we've got equal highs right here. So we could take those out, get a 1, 2, 3 here and go up. Bitcoin's just doing the same thing as the NAS right now. That's a buy on NAS right now. So I'm going to take that buy to see if we can push back up to that level. So if I'm wrong, I'll get taken out here. at the lows. We swept those guys, so we can continue. I jumped into Bitcoin long as well, and it's giving me a nice push here. So I'm looking for them to come back up as well. So they need to come back up 50%. And the NAS needs to come back up. So Bitcoin. Bitcoin's doing beautifully. I'm up at 50% retrace. So on Bitcoin, I'm going to close it already because I'm at 50% retrace. So NAS needs to come. So Bitcoin made it to 50%. Perfect, and I got out. And a nice profit there on Bitcoin. Now NASDAQ needs to come up. And of course, they're hesitating. Come on, you can do it, guys. Let's go. So now I might be hard pressed to see them go higher. We did get this gap, but I'm looking for a higher retrace here. So maybe only Bitcoin might do it instead of NAS. So might be in trouble. Which isn't always. So you make profits in Bitcoin and lose it in NAS. That's not good. So let's see if we can get another bounce here. So this could give me a 1, 2, 3 here without taking out this low. We could go back up, but thought we would just continue straight up here. So I might be in trouble. Might be in trouble. See how S&P looks.
It seems as though the big boys are fighting amongst themselves.
Yeah, I might be in trouble here. It might not go up again.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, is that it seemed as though they wanted to go up, but others said, nah, not quite ready yet.
But look at how perfect Bitcoin did it.
It's going to win this.
Bitcoin did it just perfectly and could still go higher because it's only 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm looking for one more push on Bitcoin, but I'm taking the profit at 50% because that's what I'm looking for. So because they're going to do that before they do this. So I'll wait for a breach here and jump into Bitcoin to continue going down once I get above on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin still going to is doing exactly what I'm expecting. So let's see if NAS can give me that push. So since Bitcoin's going to have to push up one more time into its 5th wave, we can get this push here in the NAS. Even if we can take out this high, it would be good. So let's see if we can get that. Otherwise, I'm just going to close this. If we can't even get above here, I'll just close this trade because I don't want to give up the profits I just made in Bitcoin. I think that was about that was a $1,600, almost $1,700 profit in Bitcoin on that move. Let's see if we can push up above, and I'll exit here because I don't like it. I don't like what they're doing here. Playing around. Looking for another push up. Okay. Oh. That was fast. Let's try it again. Another push up.
This is beginning to shape up more like a sideways push.
Okay, I'm closing it. I'm going to close it, probably to my chagrin, but keep it in profit. I don't like the way they're playing around in here. So they look like they want to just not come up and take out this high after all. They just want to just keep going down. So I thought we'd get a bigger push up into the gap, but we're not. Bitcoin's doing it much nicer. So I'll stick with Bitcoin. So sometimes Bitcoin and NAS are in tandem. So you see, I probably didn't have to exit. So they're going to take out that high, of course, now. So we do have a 1, 2, 3. So that's what I would expect, that we would take out the high and continue up. But they're playing so many games here. It's a bit tentative. So Bitcoin is doing it just nicely, the way I'm expecting, like I'm saying. So if I look at Bitcoin,
they should be going up on NAS right
so
now.
that's what I'm expecting on Bitcoin. Break that high. Now I'm looking for a sell to continue back down. So that will give us our structure. And so now I can sell Bitcoin to go back down. So I wait for a fractal here and then jump in. So let's see what NAS is doing now. Yeah, it's still not really going up there on the NAS. So I'm looking for nice.
NAS is trying to turn around, but it's a slow process at this point. So,
well, I'm not even calling it a turnaround. I'm just calling it a retrace. Essentially, I'd like to just see them come up and take out this high. Maybe just touch into this 50% retrace area, and then we get to drop. But it's a struggle. It's a tough decision here to get it to stay in or not, but they're just struggling. So didn't want to lose all that profit I made on Bitcoin just now. So, okay, so Bitcoin's setting up now for a sell. So S&P and NASDAQ could start doing the same thing. S&P. MicroStrategy is hanging in there today. It's up a little bit. Tesla's up quite a bit, eh? Up $11 from yesterday. Oh, but it's struggling as well. Same kind of thing. So the same type of, but opportunity to the downside there. I don't know if Peter caught that one. That moved down. That's a beauty.
Yes, I did.
Excellent. Peter, you are the man.
This is all I do. I don't have a life.
And that's very, very good that you stick to the one thing. And yeah, I'm jumping around Bitcoin.
It's become a part of my personality.
All right, so NASDAQ, okay, if I can get back to NASDAQ. Come on, computer, let's go. We're at, okay, this is not coming back here. What's going on? Something is hogging my resources here. Okay, there we go. All right, so we got a little bit of a bounce, but not a, okay, so they did take out the high, but they're not looking, still not looking great. So I'm going to just follow my Bitcoin. So that's as high as they're going. So I could have stayed in for them to take out the high. I would have expected that, but all right. So sweep here. So now that it looks like they're going to come sweep here and continue down, more than likely. So they're not retracing much here.
I mean, the NAS is slated to continue on down. I just don't like the action on it. I got my handles for the day, so
You're done.
yeah.
That's okay.
Sip my tea.
So they're trying to push up again.
Up into a gap.
So I can see what they're doing here now. They're just chopping it. So another push up to take out these highs. Will they take out this high?
There's a
Okay.
gap right there too.
This is low. This is a low gap. So I want to ignore this gap and look for them to go higher. You know, you want to see them retrace a higher percentage of this move. So although it is in play, this gap, most of it has been mitigated now. So we need to see them go through it and push up, take out this one, and maybe touch into that gap there, or this one.
Still finding that the big boys are battling. I don't know who's going to win it, but boy, they're battling.
So, George, according to Trump, it's Freedom Day tomorrow.
Trump is going to what?
According to Trump, it's Freedom Day tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
So, if it's Freedom Day, I'm wondering who's enslaved today. Is it the 36 trillion that everybody owes, or?
He's got a lot of money coming into the country. I think it's almost over $1 trillion now.
Yeah, I heard that on the news. I'm wondering if the 36 trillion can be paid in gold.
If he gets 36 trillion, then he can knock the debt down to nothing.
Did they ever find the gold in Fort Knox? They were talking about looking for that. Do you remember hearing about that?
No.
Well, Elon Musk was apparently going to go with Trump to look at the gold in Fort Knox. So,
What gold? There's none there.
well, that's just it. Nobody really knows for sure.
They're bringing it with them.
It's the golden age.
Did you hear that they accidentally deported somebody?
Oops.
They
Sorry, Ralph.
They accidentally deported somebody who should not have been deported.
Nancy Pelosi?
Unfortunately, they missed her.
It's amazing.
She and Schumer should be
in this Doge stuff. I mean, so many politicians, on their $200,000 a year salary in 6 years' time become multi-millionaires.
Well, they're going to investigate how these guys made all that money. Nancy Pelosi claims it's because of her husband, but her husband's in real estate, not stocks.
Yeah, well, she tells them what stocks to buy.
Real estate stocks.
Yeah, well, they have pillow talk.
The race is not to the swift. The race is not to the swift. The battle is not to the strong. Bread is not for the wise.
My 10 minutes hasn't turned up yet, so it's still in
the wise. Everything is just time and chance, says the teacher. All right, looking for something to happen here, but nothing much happening. We're just in a lull state. So we're not getting the bounce that I thought we'd get here on the NAS. We got the bounce on the Bitcoin. Nice move up on Bitcoin. Looking for to sell now on Bitcoin to come back down. So they're still going up higher, much higher than I expected on Bitcoin actually. And I'm now looking to enter for a sell on Bitcoin because this is good.
That chart is the NAS chart there.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same NAS?
This is it, yeah. NAS and S&P, they're almost identical, but a little bit off.
No, you were talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin is straight up in the air, so it's a totally different look than the NAS. So I'm selling Bitcoin as we. Okay, let me go back. Let me take a look at Bitcoin. Show you what I'm doing in Bitcoin.
Up in the air.
Yeah, Bitcoin straight up. So I've sold. So I'm looking for them to come down now. So they came all the way back up to this gap up here, which I didn't think they would come to. I thought we would be turning around in this area. So I was selling in here, thinking that we get a nice 1, 2, 3, but they decided to go up and take out this high one more time. And now we're coming down nicely. So Bitcoin's looking good. Gotta love Bitcoin. And the NAS, you see the NAS and the S&P, if I look at both of them at the same time, you can see the trajectory. The NAS went up on this angle and the S&P is on straight across. So they really mess people up and do divergences and so forth to really fool you into making the wrong choices, which is the whole part of their strategy, right?
Oh yeah.
Get these guys all in a
really
couple.
do is ride those left down legs on either one. Just put it in at the top, close your eyes, and open them up down when it hits the bottom.
They want to put you in a quandary. So Tesla, you see the difference here. Tesla's already broken those lows and starting to go down. S&P has not broken the lows yet, and the NASDAQ has not broken the lows yet. So
do you expect Tesla to go down further?
Let's look at Tesla on the 5. And we're right back into a gap here. Let's just see where this. So
we haven't around yet on NASDAQ to go.
This is the entire move of Tesla from the bottom. So looking at the structure, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3, 4 in here, and then we get another move up. So we should be done at this point, we would think, and we should be coming down further.
That's the C wave down now, right?
It looks that way at this point. So let's see from here. We've got 1, 2, yet another 1, 2 in here, and then this big, huge move. So this could be an E leg in the 4th wave, and we could go back up one more time. But I don't really like that play. So it's looking more lean to the downside here. We are coming into a gap right here. So if we can go through this gap, which it looks likely, then I can see further weakness.
I'm really headed down for the day because remember the last time I made a report on the percentage changes, 2 of them were positive and the Dow was down. But right now they're all negative.
If we bounce off this gap here, Peter, it's a possibility that they might continue back up to take out the pot. I mean, and I don't like this play, but I think we're just going to go through and continue down to take out the lows down here more so. And the reason why is we have a 1, 2, 3 here. And so that could take us down to that level. So if I'm wrong, we're going to bounce off this gap here and continue back up more than likely. But I don't really see that happening. Let's go to the 15. So we've come back up. And again, you see how these gaps play, eh? There's a gap right up there. We came right back into that gap. Amazing. And so we're bouncing off the gap with a 1, 2, 3 top, looking to come down. So from this level, I can see that the structure is 1, 2, kind of 3, 4 in here and up to 5. So now we're getting a 1, 2 again coming down. So looks reasonable for a continuation to the downside here. So Bitcoin's giving me some nice money here, so I might as well take something off. Took a little partial on Bitcoin. Yeah, Tesla is looking, yeah, again, if this doesn't hold, this gap doesn't hold, which it doesn't look like it will, we're heading down further. So NAS is looking to fall. I thought I thought we'd bounce up a little higher and then drop, but they're just a struggle trying to do that in comparison to Bitcoin. So they're just going to roll over, it looks like. So you can see we've got the our typical A, B, C, D, E structure, and we're looking to go down. So I thought we'd get a longer move up even on this leg, but they're not even doing that. So
My 10-minute is still in a downward mode on NAS.
yeah, S&P is much weaker. And Tesla is really weak. You can see how it's just rolling right over. So 3 different looks on it. We've got the, if you're talking about flags, you've got a flag this way on the NAS, and then on the S&P, oh, that's the S&P, I'm sorry. There's the NAS. So S&P, the flag is straight. And then on Tesla, the flag is down. So yeah, are they sneaky or what, eh? So which one of them are you supposed to, believe, eh? It's like hilarious the way they do this. And you can see why people get all messed up in here. Right? It's tough. Tough playing. So Bitcoin's the only one that's doing it the way I'm expecting it to do it. So yeah, Bitcoin's just got a nice 1, 2, 3 top heading down nicely, giving me nice profits, and yeah, it's great. Love Bitcoin. Gotta say that. So.
It's beginning to look like the
Like Christmas?
correction for NAS is going to continue down. I now have my 3-minute pointing down too. Although I should wait for this candle to close, current candle to close.
So they're looking to sweep the lows and continue down, sweeping this one. So at this point, you could still enter by a retrace and a drop. So if you wanted to, continue the move down. So there is a gap here. So we're looking for a similar thing again. This breach of the lows here.
Just to hit the low is only 15 handles.
No, I'm talking about the continuation of the move though to the downside. So there, the lows, the target is this low here. So that's 19,120, and we're at 19,250. So that's 130 points. So that's 130 handles down to that low. This is the target down here.
Okay.
So if you can get in and get a ride down, that's
Yeah.
So we're into a macro right now at 10 minutes to the hour, and looking for a continued drop here. So if we can break this low here currently, I'm just going to make this bigger so everybody can see what I'm talking about. Break this low, get this retrace back. That presents a nice selling opportunity for the breakout to the downside.
Yeah, that retrace back would be at least 62% of the down leg.
Yeah, about 62% right there. Yeah. And then, so we're getting a breach of the lows. That's looking good. So that gives us our structure in here. And then we get a move back up. And that would be a nice sell at that point. Our structure is complete. A, B, C, D, and E. It's beautiful. And now we get our 1, 2, and then we should drop. So I would sell that all day long at that point.
You're staying on till 4 o'clock then?
Yes. Everybody's okay?
No, it's fine. I didn't know if you were going to.
Yeah, we'll stay till the close. We've got more red news tomorrow, right? So it should be a buoyant day tomorrow. Again, like today. So we have, well, Mr. Trump is speaking tomorrow as well. We've got ADP non-farm employment change coming up, red news.
The ADP is tomorrow
At 8:15. Yeah, a little earlier than usual.
No. That's always at 8:15.
Okay. And then Mr. Trump is speaking at 4 at the close. Ooh, that's interesting. Right at the close.
So that's better at the close than at noontime.
Oh, we got that. Look at that. We got the retrace right back in. So I'm selling it right there. That's what I was looking for. So I'll sell that at that point. And let's see if I'm correct. My stop. I'll bring my stop up and give it a little bit of room. I should be okay to about there. Halfway down the wick, halfway up the wick. Should stay within this gap and continue down. So that's what I'd be looking for there. Am I going to be right or not? Not.
Climbing past that point.
Wow, they took me out already. Okay. Wow.
I'm seeing the battle goes on again. The boys are fighting.
They went up and took out the high. Wow, that's interesting. Whew. Surprised at that. I thought we were going to just do this.
Yeah, when I see this structure, I said,
so our structure.
These boys are battling out, and
wow,
who the heck's going to win?
Okay, so they took me out of Bitcoin as well, because getting that same move back up, but I made some nice profits on Bitcoin. So these are just small losses, mind you, so it's okay. So now they're looking to do what I was expecting them to do in the first place, to come up into this gap here, and they're doing it in a very unorthodox way. So how did I miscount here? Okay, looked like an A, B, C, D, E, but maybe it's a little different than I'm expecting. A, B, C, D, and E leg. So yeah, sometimes you mess up the count. So this is my number 3 point, and this is A, B, C. So that would be considered A, and then B. So very sneaky. D, I mean C, and then D.
Well, maybe this is wave 5 too.
And this is our E leg.
That's the E leg right there.
Yeah, so very sneaky play. So at this junction here, I was calling this an A and a B and a C and a D and an E. I was wondering why they didn't go up higher in the E here, and that's why, because I'm miscounting. Yeah. So very sneaky there on their part. So if that's correct, then yes, they'll take that out.
The last hour.
So we should push into the gaps now, which is what I was expecting them to do here. And I was wondering why they weren't doing it. They took out the low, come down, fake you, come back in, looks really good. We should drop. Nope. So yeah, very interesting. That's why this game is not for the faint of heart.
But they even exceeded, let me see if they did. Yep, they exceeded the gap at 2:08 Eastern time. Wow. They never got back to the gap that you wanted though, which is right at VWAP.
They're getting close to it now, so we could still make it.
Well, right now, it looks like the
one more push.
I think this is the stronger group right now of the big boys, saying we want to take it down now, but I could be wrong on that one. I'm just
one more push up to take out the high and go into this gap now. They didn't come up here not to go into this gap.
That gap, they would be right at the VWAP line.
Yeah, they did a sneaky there. Very good. Very, very good. But I see what they're doing. Remember, every time you take a trade, it's basically a loss until such time that you get your target view. So you have to always look at it in that way. No guarantee ever. So still looking for one more push into the gap up here. So we do have a gap here.
It's entirely possible.
So we're looking for them to bounce off and go up one more time.
Good shape for that. 10 minutes says I could do it, but I wouldn't guarantee it.
I guarantee they're going to take that high out and go into this gap.
More consolidation.
Yeah, they're consolidating, but they're going to push through.
Well, that's what they're going to do. They just consolidate now, and then they'll have another push to give you your chance to get in.
Very close to taking it out. They should go through this time.
They're trying to push it up again now.
Oh yeah, they're going to go through. Okay, we're at the last hour now. 10 minutes left in this macro. Push into this gap. Okay, so they've taken the high. Here they go. All right, so when we touch into the gap, this is the, I think the hourly or the 15-minute gap, and then there's a 1 minute gap here.
I'm just looking at the 1 minute gap.
Yeah, so I've got a large 15-minute gap.
And you just touched that.
Just touching it, but we should go in a little deeper.
It just did.
Yeah, we should go a little deeper into this mid. I wanted them to go up about 50% here, 50% of the entire move. So boy, that took a long time for them to do that, but you see how they did it. I was expecting them to do it here. They didn't. They drop it down more. Then I thought they would do it here. They said no. So then they come here, and I thought, okay, that's it. They're going to do it here. No. And then they fake everybody to go short here, because that's a fake to go short. And then they take everybody out and go up into it now. So we should be done when we get in here and ready to come back down. They are very good. They are very good. No joke.
Question is, did you get in, or are they going to leave without you?
Yeah, looking for a fractal here. Do have a fractal, but I don't know if they're done going up yet. They might still have one more push to go. Yeah, it looks like they have another push to go. One more time to take out these equal highs now.
So they could go up to the next.
Yeah, I want them to go up into this gap, the one that I've got highlighted.
You see 1, 2, 3 bottom on the 1 minute Tesla after wave 5.
Yeah, be careful about going long though, because we're in a downward mode here, right? So this is more of a ploy to entice traders to go long. So you see this gap is holding at this point. I was talking about that we could bounce off this gap. So we could go up a little bit. There are gaps here. There's a gap here.
Yeah.
So we could go up a little bit, and then we're more than likely continuing the move down, just like what the NAS is doing right now.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
yeah, so be careful about wanting to go long. It's the ploy. It's the ploy to entice everybody to do that. Okay, so see, they're going to take out these. They're making equal highs, so they're going to take them out one more time here. It's the fourth wave here, right? So we should go through one more time. Looking for them to come into this gap here. So Bitcoin looks poised to drop already. So I'm going to sell Bitcoin at this point. So we might get that one more push. Okay, they're taking them out. So can we get up into this gap here? Yep, they're touching it.
They're touching it now, yeah.
Yeah, so that might be it now, or they can go a little deeper.
I can't tell from the big boys. They just pushed through the one. It looks like they could do it. Yep,
Yeah.
they did it.
So I'd wait for a fractal now just to take an entry.
Oh, definitely. Up now. 'Cause that's a big gap, too.
We're right dead center they touched. Amazing, 50%. So that gives us our structure going up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be done. We should be coming back down now, taking everybody out. Anybody who's straggling here. Okay, so I'm looking for a sell. Looking for a fractal, so wait for the next candle to give me confirmation of my fractal. And there we go. Yep, had it. There. Okay, so I'm in.
Get another one.
So my stop would now just be above the high, and that's it. So that's my risk. My risk is very small. If I'm wrong, they come back up and take me out. If I'm right, we just continue falling.
Still in premium, though.
Bitcoin's giving me nice profits. So again, Bitcoin comes out in the crunch. Doing just as expected.
Looks like you caught that nicely, Lennox.
So just want to take something off at this low here. Let the rest go. Oops. So take a partial there. And now I'm basically playing for free almost. I don't want to put it into positive yet because they can still come back up.
Yeah,
They're mean.
just after the day, they can do a lot of that.
So let's see if we can continue going down. So my target now would be the actual low hit the way down here. But that's kind of a little bit greedy, maybe you might say, but it's the structure, right? We're looking at the overall structure. We should make it down there, but you can always take profits off with these areas. So I'll just keep, if I can hang in there without getting stopped out, then I'll just keep going down. So that should take us down for the rest of the day, hopefully. If I'm correct, there's still no guarantee I'm correct. We could still go up and take me out again. So we'll see how it plays out here.
Utility is increasing a bit. Quite a bit, really. What the heck's going on? Well, I think that's the big boys battling.
Always good to take a little something off, just in case. Whenever I get over 1,000 or so, I always take something off. And
yeah, that's correct.
If I can make it down to the bottom, I'm looking at, over 4 grand. But I can always add to my position as well if I get a chance. So,
you're in good shape, but it'll go further.
so I'd be looking for a breach of this low.
But, oh yes, yes.
If I break that low, then I would look for a retrace to add to my position to continue down. Now that would be the ideal play there. But until that time, I'm not going to look to add yet. Because they can come back up and get you.
They're trying that right now. I'm going pretty flat on the 10-minute one though, so it's getting risky.
So there's a little gap there. They came back into that gap. See that?
Yeah.
You just touched in. So that really, I could add to my position there, but nothing wrong with doing that. Just that I'm so close to where I entered. It's a bit touchy. So I would like to see them break through the low, come back, and then I would feel a little better about that. But they can go through this low and continue without coming back. So this is a very tempting sell, another sell opportunity there. But you're so close here that you don't know if they're going to just spike it through, take everybody out, and then drop it. So it's a little tough playing here because of that. So that I've got a gap, regular gap, and I've got an inverted gap as well. So the inverted gap is in play too, but they're both about equal. So either one. So they're touching both right now. So we should be falling from here, I would think. So like I say, it's a tempting sell. Maybe I'll just sell another one. Let's see if I can push back up there one more time. No, that was pretty close. Okay, so I'll sell it there and see if we'll continue falling here. So now my risk becomes high again because of doing that. I'm expecting these gaps to hold and continue us down. So let's see if that happens. Then I'd be looking for a breach of this low. No guarantees here.
You see 1, 2, 3 top on 1 minute Tesla, Lennox?
Let's see how Tesla looks at this point. Yeah, so they're really messing Tesla up here, right? So we got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got a 1, 2, 3 top right now. Yeah, so looking like we should do that, but pretty flat here. Not liking that flatness. So it's possible they can push back up to take everybody out, eh?
Yeah, okay.
So you have to be careful. Whenever it's flat like that, you have to always be careful. So yeah, they can certainly push back up. And oh, see, they took me out on NAS. I knew that they could do that. You see, that's the risk you take when you do that because you're so tight to where you're entering. So there is a gap there, Peter, on the 5 minute. And they took me out of Bitcoin. Wow, amazing. Okay, but losses are small there, so it's all good. But hate losing. So there's a 5 minute gap on NAS that they could push back into before they come down. Okay, so and there's another one above as well. But if you look at this first one, because there's equal highs here and everything, so that's a likely play, take everybody out and then drop it.
Okay.
Okay, so NAS, yeah, see, nasty. they come back higher than I'm expecting them to. So they weren't done going up, obviously, right? And that was the risk I took. I thought that would suffice, but they said no. We want to come back and get some more. So where's my structure? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. So it looked like we were done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But they said no. Sorry. That's why they wouldn't come and take this low. So now they're done.
They take you out, Len?
Yeah, they took me out of Bitcoin and NAS. So I really shouldn't have added at that point. I just thought, okay, maybe it's done, and but yeah, very sneaky. This is real life, real TV though. So this is the way it is. So I'm showing you guys that this is the reality of the game. So keep those stops in, because the stops really help you to mitigate big, huge losses. Because if I didn't put a stop in, I'd be in, serious drawdown. I mean, not that I don't expect them to come back down, but there's no guarantee here. If you didn't put a stop on and they just kept going and going and going, now you're in deep troubles. So best to have the stop. Take a small loss. You can always get back in. You can always make your loss back. Don't be a hero. I've been caught with no stop and not fun.
That makes two of us.
I mean, I can make my way out of it with no stop, but for those who are just learning and or nervous about doing this or whatever, you don't do it. It's not worth it. All right, so are we done now is the question. Are we done at this point? Is this the high, or do we go one more time to take that high? So I'd rather see a sweep. So I'd like to see them go back one more time, take that high, and then give me my 1, 2, 3 to come down. So that kind of gives me a head and shoulders type pattern at that point, like a head and shoulders here. Sorry. So that would be the ideal, but I don't know if they're going to go back up one more time. I would expect that they would, but there's no guarantee that they will. So looking for, so in my structure now would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm looking for another push up one more time. If not, if they don't come up and take this high, because we have swept here. So if they don't come back and take this high, then we would be just coming down like that. So there is a gap there. I've got all these gaps now, so I've got to really get my bearings here. So there's a gap here. That can become my new inverted gap. At that point, I've got a regular gap painting right now. Still have, okay, there it did paint. So that's right inside the inverted gap. So this could be a point where we could enter to fall, or they might be faking us out again and go up and take this high before they fall, before we come down. So a little bit of patience here. We might find out what they're going to do. But in either case, we need to break this low in order to change direction. So Bitcoin's already dropping. But I'm noticing something about Bitcoin, and let me just go into Bitcoin. Just we're right in that crucial area here. So what's going to happen there? Eh? So let me just go to Bitcoin real quickly here. I noticed something about Bitcoin. If I go to the 5-minute time frame, this entire move along that we're having in here looks very indicative of a fourth wave. Would you not say? Just chopping up and down. So it is possible for them to come down and take out that low, but we might be heading this way. And why would we head up that way? Anyone? Why would we head up top instead of coming down? We got a big gap there. The next big gap is way down here. So we could be heading up because all the liquidity is above. All the dollars are up here. All the orders are up here. So they haven't taken these guys out. These guys haven't been taken out. These guys haven't been taken out. These guys haven't been taken out. They're coming down just to take out this low and then go back up again at the macro at 10-2 to take everybody out. Give us one last hurrah move up, it looks like, on Bitcoin. Let's see the 15. You see how it looks on the 15? We're very flat here, right? We're in a triangle. So that looks like the ploy. We've got a 1, 2, 3, and we're in a fourth wave. And they're going to do that and come up at the end, take everybody out. So today I'm not leaving at 10 minutes to like I did yesterday. And we'll catch this move. So that's what I see happening there with Bitcoin. So we could come all the way down to take out these lows, certainly, possibly. We're at 23 minutes after. So can we make it all the way down to these levels first? Possible. So it's still a sellable play down. But at the end here at 10 minutes to, once they break this low, we could be coming back up in a hurry. That could be a deploy here. So does it have enough to do that in the next 25 minutes or so? It's possible, eh? So let's go back to NAS again. Okay, so NAS has gone higher, taking out that high, just like we expected, right? We expected them to take that high because that gives us our structure. So now we'd be looking for them to turn around again. We're still inside the big gap. We're just above midpoint of it. So we don't have anything else to go up to. There's a small gap on the 1 minute there. That's inside of the bigger gap, so it's all the same. So that basically going to that last gap, as it were. So that should be enough here to bring us back down. There isn't anything above that except for this order block up here, which is not really an order block. So that should be enough right there. All right, so I'm going to look to sell again at this point. I've got a fractal, so I'm selling again, just like I did right over here. And then it came back up and took me out. So they gave me the fractal. Let's see if this holds and we continue going down. So my stop again is tight right there, right above the high. So they can take me out, but my risk is tiny, so that's okay. Let's see if we can just fall from here now. Get rid of these guys. Might get taken out again. Ooh, that was close. Still alive, but not by much. Looks like I'm going to die here. Yeah. Okay, so that wasn't the top. I think I'm close though. So we're right into the 1 minute gap. You're going right up to the top of it. Wow, amazing. All right, so looking for another fractal here. So I don't mind losing a small amount like that. It's almost like you're testing the waters, as it were, to see if it's warm enough. Did I say that out loud? I don't mind losing.
I don't believe that.
I hate losing, no matter, even if it's a dime. It's just horrid. That's why every play I'm trying to win. You know, I mean, that's the game. That's the goal, right? You got every play is a winner. You know, and you got to go in that way, thinking that way. Otherwise, but you can see it's very difficult. All right, so we're looking for it's very flat here, so it's still going higher. Interestingly. Let me take a look at the 5-minute here. So looking pretty good here that we should be done, because we've got a nice 1, 2, 3 here, drop up. We should be coming down, taking these lows out. And once we do that, then the macro should take us back up to take everybody out who went short. That's what they're going to do today, I believe. All right, so still inside that big gap, still holding. There are no other gaps except way up here. So are they going to gun for this high? Maybe they'll go up there, but you can't rule that out. So I'll mark it. Oops. I'll mark that gap, but I really don't think they should go up there. But they might. How far away are we? Not that far away. So yeah, they can spike it up there if they so desire. Still looking for a fractal here. A little flat for my liking, but that might be it. That might have been it. There's a very quick fractal there. So if it is it, then if that is the top, which is a likely scenario, then I could still wait for this move, right? That's for our 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what I did was I jumped into Bitcoin because Bitcoin gave me a nice entry at that point there. And so I'm doing nicely in Bitcoin. I'm going to take a partial on that right away. Lock in some profits. So Bitcoin, very, very nice. So you can see how I'm looking for them to come down to take out these lows. So my target would be at the low here. And so that's kind of the move. So Bitcoin looks really good at this point. My stop, I can actually put my stop into positive at this point. It might be a bit tight to put it into positive, but it can still come back up and get me. You have to be really careful about putting your stop too tight. But there is a gap here. So hopefully this gap will hold price back just to the middle and we can continue down. So otherwise, that they could take me out still. So my stop really should be above the middle candle at least. That might be a bit safer rather than being so tight, trying to be stingy. Make it bigger. But let's see if we can continue. Yeah, it's a bit tight here. I might want to put it back above. The reason I'm doing this is because I hate losing, and even if it's a buck, you know, so don't like giving these guys my money. And see that they're coming right back to get me. So I'm going to put it at one tick above. Let's see if I'm okay there. Right back above that middle candle. So we should be okay. They shouldn't really go through this gap. But yeah, they're so mean. The word is wicked. They're wicked because it's a wick. They wick you. They wicked move. Wicked move and take you out. Hope everybody gets that one. Wicked.
Got it.
Wicked term. That's my terminology. They're wicked traders or algorithms or macros that whatever is going on in the market. You know, it's all speculation, right? So yeah, they like to wick you out. So and see, even at that point, see I get wicked out. So it didn't even matter. So my stop technically should be above this high, but I'm dead there as well. So it doesn't really matter where you put it, you know, in this sense. So should I put it way up here? Then my risk is so much higher. So if you're going to get taken out, I don't want to be taken way up there if I'm getting in, you know, down here, because your risk is so high. So yeah, it's a tough one. You know, where do you hide your stop? Like I say, it's like you've got a bullseye. You know, you're a bullseye. It's like they're just aiming for you. Let's get them. So your stops are just that's all there are. They're just bullseyes sitting there. So they took me out of Bitcoin as well. But I made some nice profit, so that's all good. But it can take me out. I went into positive on Bitcoin. So it looks like the stop might have been safe here. And Michael Huddleston says that the wicks are gaps. So if the wicks are gaps, then you see what they did here. They came up into the middle of the gap with the wick. That's the wickedness of them. They come up to the middle of the gap. So you can put your stop above the high, or maybe the 3/4 point of the gap, the gap, which is a wick. So the wick, you can put your stop above midpoint and you might be safe from getting taken out. So I have those choices, but I decided to use the middle gap, the middle candle of the gap, and that didn't work, right? So here I got another fractal, so I could enter again. So I'm going to try it again. So let's see if we can come up a little bit more here. Nope. Ow. Looking for a little bit more retrace here, but so let me just go back and take a good look at this on the 5 minute. So on the 5 minutes, from a 5 minute standpoint, we're in a fourth wave. We're just slicing sideways. So the trajectory is for us to go to the upside. My thought is that we should fall first, take out these lows first before we go to the upside. So that's why I'm trying to sell here. So I wanted you to understand my reasoning. So the 1 minute time frame, looking for them to take us down first, right? Is that feasible? Are we running out of time? Are we running out of time to do that? Maybe. So maybe they're just fooling us. They've swept this low, and then maybe they're not going to come and take this low. And so we could just be getting a 1-2 here to go. You see? So we can this thing can change because they've swept. I'm kind of still looking for them to come down, but we're running out of time. Time is our enemy now because 10-2 comes really quick. We only have about 15 minutes. So can we come down 15 candles? Sure, right? Everybody get my gist here? We could still come down 15 candles. Yeah, that's, you know, it's 8 candles can take us down. Even one candle can take us down. So here we go. All right, so if we take out this low, so that would have been a nice sell up at the top there, see? But I got stopped out. That's just the way it is. So now we've broken the low, so retrace, sell, right? If we can retrace back to this gap, that's a nice sell. And we have an inverted gap as well. So that would be very nice here. Inverted gap. And we have a regular gap. So a retrace back in would be a quick sell. Same thing on Bitcoin. So the time element is very crucial because 10 minutes to the hour is when we get the final macro of the day, and it plays large. Like yesterday, we saw how it called it correctly, but I wasn't there to catch the exit to make some profits, unfortunately. So today I'm going to stay. So there we're getting a retrace back into the middle of the gap, right? That's what I'm expecting. So is it a sell? It looks like it should be a sell. So I'm going to give it a shot. I could be incorrect again, but that's the risk I take, right? So should we go through this? We shouldn't go through this gap here. And my stop now, where would my stop be? Got gaps above, very tough area to put a stop in, as you can see. So above this high might be reasonable. They could easily wick me out. So I'll go just in here. Get rid of this guy. Okay, so looking for them to come down again. Well, I'm on Bitcoin. I'm sorry. I thought I was on the NAS. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I was on the NAS here. I'm losing my mind.
9.
Okay, wow. So the NAS is doing something totally different. So NAS has gone way up in comparison to Bitcoin. Okay, so NAS is telling a different story. I thought I was on the NAS there. I'm sorry. Just lost my bearings there. Okay, so 1, 2. We got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So they've pushed up much, much higher, right into this order block now. Wow, that's amazing. So the order block has come into play at this point. Interesting. So we're sort of losing the momentum to the downside all of a sudden now. Really looking for them to drop this, but not looking so great anymore, is it? Still possible, but we don't have time now. So what are they going to do at the end? So all these move up. This is interesting. Wow, where are they going? So we came down into this gap way down here. Touched into that. And they said that's as far as we're going to go. So if they're not going to go any further than that, then and again we have 1, 2, 1, 2, or it's an A, B. That's a B. That's a B there, and then 1, 2. So we still would need this move at least. So at the macro, we would drop down and then shoot up. That's possible. Possible. And get rid of some of these gaps here now because it's making a mess of my chart. Make this a little bigger. So we come into the order block. This is on all on the 5-minute here. This gap is no longer available. This gap is no longer available. Still going up. Get rid of this guy. Okay, so time is of the essence now, right? We've got 7 minutes left before the macro. All right. See how S&P looks. Tesla is just dogging it here. So you see, Peter, that was not a 1, 2, 3 at that point when we looked at it, right? Because they can, it looks like it is, but they can easily go up and take you out. Looking to go up into this gap up here, which is what they did. The gap held. See how the price stayed inside the gap? It didn't, they only wicked out of it. The body stayed inside and then they drop it back and now they're chopping it up. Looking like they want to drop it first here. Let's see. But we're still going up on the NAS. Wow, amazing. So this is like an inducement for the longs. We're right at that order block, which is a legitimate order block. Right there, right into it there. So I wouldn't expect us to go through that based on our structure. We should hold and come back. So if we break through that, then all bets are off, right? Six minutes before the macro kicks in. So yeah, I thought we would fall to the downside here first. Take out the lows at least and then come back, but they're not doing that. So it's still, we have lots of liquidity below here now, and we have lots of liquidity above. Which one will they do? I just got taken, I went into Bitcoin short and I just got taken out on my stop. Very tight stop though. Okay, so that's okay. 5 minutes to go. So it doesn't look like we're going to obviously take out these lows right away. So at this point, since we're going through that gap, that order block, looking to take out this high, I would be looking for a break of structure as it were, or a change of character here. And then a retrace. But how far will we retrace to is the question. We get this continuation move.
I'm done with Tesla for the day, Lennox.
Yeah, I can understand that. Tesla is very choppy, very messy.
I'll be back at it tomorrow.
Yeah.
See you then.
You're leaving?
Yeah, there's nothing more for me to do today.
All right. Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, take care.
Yeah, good show.
Right. Bye, Peter.
All right, so we've got another 3 minutes to go. So look, I'm looking for, they didn't take that high out. Let's see if S&P did. S&P has not done it either. So I would kind of think that they come all this way, they would take that high and then pull back. So we would think that they would take this high. Gone through the order block. That would make sense for them to take the high. Yeah, they're taking the high out. Right, high is gone. So all the liquidity above now, there's only that one has been taken so far. All this liquidity up here is in jeopardy. But we'd like to see a retrace first and then a go. So with 2 minutes to go, maybe that's what they'll do, bring it back down. Where would they bring it back down to? There's an order block here, and there's a gap there. So that might be enough to propel us back up. So they can do a wick thing here. And then these guys look okay. They look safe down here. If there is a safe. Okay, in the last minute now. All right, we're at 10 minutes too. So let's see what happens here. And still a bit iffy. Looking for them to drop it first and then come back up, but maybe not. You see our 4-hour candle, we opened and then big wick and big tail, and now we're heading straight up. So we're looking to take out the previous 4-hour candles high, which is up there. So taking out all the stops. So they're really not coming back at all. Very interesting. I'm buying Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin.
No, I don't think so. Not me.
It's not doing much here.
Up below my margin.
Yeah, I thought we'd get a pullback perhaps to this gap here, like on the S&P, to this gap here. But it's not happening. At all. So we've got two highs taken out. We've got a gap right here. Wow, they're really holding price. There's nothing going on at the macro. Interesting. In comparison to yesterday's solid move that we had. Nothing going on here today. So yeah, I didn't see a buy or a sell here, so it's best not to do either. So all we have here is, again, we don't get a fifth leg here, which I would have expected. And so that's the reason why I was looking for a retrace here to take out this low, but they don't do it. So on the S&P, did we get that? Yes. See the difference? Again, I got messed up again. I got fooled again right here because they did take out the low on the S&P. So my structure is correct on the S&P. So I didn't notice that on the S&P. So that's a missed opportunity there again, guys. We really have to pay attention to that divergence at this point. It's on the 5 minute, but there's a divergence here. So what it's telling us is that S&P was telling the truth at this point. S&P had divergence, took out the low. So that means this is the low, and this is a 1, 2, 3 bottom, and we shouldn't be looking to come back down anymore. We should be looking to go long. If that makes sense to you guys, this is how they trick everybody. You see, this little ploy here is because we're sitting on NASDAQ only. We're looking at NASDAQ. And so if you're not paying attention to S&P is doing what we expect it to do. We expect them to drop it through. Why don't they drop it through on the NAS? Why do they not drop it here on the NAS through like I'm expecting? So when they don't do that, and you didn't see it happen on the S&P, you're thinking, oh, okay, they're going to go back up and they're going to come back down to take it out because that's your expected structure. So it's not going to happen because it's already happened on the S&P that they took this low out. So since they've taken it out on the S&P, there's no way it's going to happen now on the NAS. So it's a move to the upside. It's just a missed opportunity on our part. So they're very, very good at manipulating.
Well, Tesla on the 1 minute chart was going up very nicely, and then all of a sudden it just gapped down on the 1 minute chart. There's a big gap.
Yeah, it's in the chop.
So,
So it's doing a completely different dance than the indices are right now.
if you're going long, you could buy it now, maybe.
I wouldn't be buying it because we're in a chop. So
Yeah, but if I said if. Anyways, yeah, it's in a wave 4, right?
it looks so.
On the 1 minute, it's in a wave
we've got
4.
1, 2 here, and then they're just chopping it. So the expected move would be to take out the lows.
Yeah,
So it's doing a little something different than the NAS and the S&P are doing, where these guys are very strong to the upside all of a sudden. It's very, yeah, and this is correct because of what the S&P did right here. So the whole key to this move was right here. So not seeing this, I'm not looking for this 1, 2, 3 bottom, which is a buy right there to go to the upside, to go up and take out these highs, which are where the liquidity is sitting. So that's very sneaky play on their part there. Super sneaky play on their part. It's just astounding, actually. And they do it over and over and over again, and they still fool you. So have to be really vigilant and pay attention to these areas where price turns. Yeah, it's interesting because Bitcoin is clearly in a fourth wave, and the expected move was for them to come down and take out these lows. And so they kind of fake everybody to go long, and then now they're dropping it down to take out the lows. So that's what we would expect them to do, come down first and then continue up, because there's liquidity down here. They're taking these guys. All these guys are sitting, they're okay up here with liquidity. So they want to come down first, take out the liquidity down below. Maybe they'll come and take these guys, or they'll leave them alone and they've just taken these guys, and that's enough for them to come back up. So that's a possibility as well. Let's see if I can catch a ride in Bitcoin before. So I can see now what they're doing. They've swept the lows. But we do have a 1, 2, 3, so we could drop one more time, take out this low, and then we come back up. And is that enough for them to take out the low of the low? That's possible, right? So you can see how the structure works. 1, 2, up, back in here. So this should be a sell to come down, take out this low at least, maybe this low. So that is a sell on Bitcoin right there. So I'll take it.
Have a bell.
And we're at the bell. We're at 10 minutes to. So what did NASDAQ do at 10 minutes to? At 1 o'clock, at 4 o'clock. Did they drop it down or did they continue going up? We should continue going up.
Yeah, right now, looking at the daily chart, looks like a 1, 2 for going back up.
On NASDAQ or Tesla?
On Tesla.
Okay. On the daily chart.
Yeah, a little bigger.
No, I don't still don't like that. I mean, we have a 1, 2. Let me make this bigger. So the key here again is up here.
Okay.
That's our key. So if you keep that key in mind, that's our key. So then we get another one. Then we drop. So this whole move here is a third wave. So this should be a 3 here. So if that's a 3, then we know where we are.
Yep.
And if we know where we are, then we're not looking to go long here because yes, they can, but it might not be very far. So we got an A and a B and a C. So yeah, we could go up one more time. All right, so I'll mark this because that looks like that's the ploy that they're going to pull here. So we're going to come back up into this gap here, perhaps. Right? That's the only gap, the first gap up. There's some gaps in here, but they've been mitigated, and we've taken everything out. So there's a high right here. So that's a possible reach there. So we've got a 1-2 essentially. This would be a 3-4, and then yeah, we could get this one more push like that. So that gives us our fourth wave, see? And then we would be coming back down to take all these guys out. That's what it looks like they're going to do here to me. So if I were going to buy an option now, we're at 268. I'd be looking at like the 270 calls for Friday. That would push us up into 300. That's a nice play. And when we get up in here, 300, 320s, buying puts to come back down. So that looks like what the ploy is here. So on the 4 hour. So what were you calling the 1, 2, 3 bottom on the daily? We're on the daily here. What's the 1, 2, 3 bottom that you're seeing?
Oh, I just saw 1, 2.
Like which one? This one here?
Hang on. I just. Yeah, basically one.
There is a definite one here.
Okay.
And that puts us up into the third wave.
Is that another one?
And that would be the third wave, and then we would be pushing one more time to take out these highs,
right?
To take us up possibly into this area here. So that would be, that kind of move. But that puts us into a fourth wave now. This is just a fourth wave that we're in. You see, so we come down 1, 2, 3, and now we chop A, B, C, D, E essentially, and then we should drop back down.
Okay.
That's kind of how I see it. So if that makes sense, again, there's no, I could be completely wrong, but that's kind of the structure at this point. So I'm looking for them to take out these highs up here.
Yep.
We could get a pullback first before we do that, so that's also possible. So at this point here, I took a stab at that Bitcoin I was just talking about, that move, right? So we get this 1, 2, we drop, pop, sell, drop. That's what I'm looking for. That's worked out perfectly. So take some profit off this thing.
So it looks like it might drop into tomorrow then.
Stop into positive.
269.
Okay, so where are we going on Bitcoin here? So Bitcoin, like I'm looking for them to take out this low on Bitcoin. So that would be where a target would be. So I could move my take profit just below that level. We're right about there. So that is similar to what we just looked at on Tesla. It's just the opposite. So 1, 2, since we got the 1, 2, we made the third wave. So on Tesla, we were looking at it this way. We made the third wave, we dropped back. So the expected next move is to the upside to take this high. Just like the expected move, when we move back up, the expected move is for us to go back down and take out the low. Here on this one, the expected move is for us to go up and take out the high. See? But they don't do that. Why don't they do that? Right? they sweep these guys, and they don't give you a fifth wave here to go up and take this one and take these guys. So they're leaving these guys alone for whatever reason, and they're not giving us the fifth leg here, and then they drop it back. So if they're not going to give me the fifth leg, then I have to take it to the downside. So take it to the downside.
Those guys are asking, they're a little bit too high. They're asking too much. Back up in that area, people are expecting them to come up there, but they're not going to go back up there because they're going to.
Yeah, I don't know why they leave these guys alone here, because there's orders sitting there, right? So these guys are safe. These guys are safe. Whoever sold here, these guys are safe. Right? So
yeah,
I'm expect them to drop it one more time down. Let's see if I can make it without getting stopped out here, just down to this target here. So can we do that? Will they do that?
I don't know. But I've been up pretty early today again, and I'm going to go back for a nap.
All right. So we're almost 10 minutes, well, 7 minutes after the hour here. All right. Thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it as usual.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. So it's an edification every time here, because this is live and the markets don't do what you expect them to do a lot of the times. And they play little games like those, like I keep pounding that the divergences are very, very tricky. They do that to mess everybody up. And they do it well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm jumping around from, Tesla to Bitcoin to NAS, S&P. So a lot of times I'll miss things, and I'm hoping you guys will be catching on now to be able to say, hey, there's divergence between S&P and NAS, because that's so important if we could kind of help each other out, because I'm jumping around so much. That's why I like just trading in my quiet time by myself, because I'm not jumping around like that. I'm just concentrating on one thing. And so it's a lot easier to trade in the quiet time, like in the evening sessions and London session and so forth. I can wing off 10, 12, 15, 20 trades in a row without a loss, because I'm not jumping around like this.
Right.
So they're always tricking you, right? And that's what's going on. They're enticing everybody to do the wrong things. They're enticing you to change your mind, to think that, your analysis is way off and so forth, when you really have it right. This is what they're doing. They're always inducing people to do the wrong thing, because if they're selling, they're looking for high prices. If they're buying, they're looking for low prices. That's all it is.
Right. Have you heard of CoreWeave?
All right, sir.
Have you heard of CoreWeave?
I'm sorry?
Have you heard of CoreWeave? It's tied into NVIDIA. It's basically NVIDIA, I don't know, synergistic stock. It just IPO'd at $40 the other day. It went down a little bit, and it was heavily shorted. So it popped up 40% today.
So they're getting the shorts.
Well, they got shorted the other day, I guess, right at the outset.
So the buyers are taking out the shorts now.
Yeah, there's a squeeze going on, according to Jim Cramer this morning. And the other one that I've come across my desk here is MLGO. That's microalgo.
So the first one was, what was it called? Sorry?
CoreWeave.
CoreWeave?
CoreWeave. C-O-R-E.
Oh, C-O-R-E. Okay.
Yeah, CoreWeave. Yeah, interesting IPO there.
And the other one was MLG.
Oh, yeah, it's microalgo, and that one has been on fire. It was about $2 2 weeks ago. It peaked around $30 here the other day.
Okay, I'll take a boo at those.
Yeah, Qubit has been jumping around a little bit. It went down today about 8%. It's back up only to -3 at 771. And Also on sale today is X-Row again. It's down to about 8.5 cents.
Yes, I saw that. So CoreWeave is this guy, I think. Yeah, look, one daily bar, 4-hour bars. Wow. There we go. Hourly, 30-minute, 15-minute might give us a little. So the 15-minute gives us our structure. 1, 2, 3. Oh, so I got stopped out of my Bitcoin. So they came back up quite quickly. And fourth wave, and then fifth wave. So whoever shorted, maybe they shorted in here, thinking it's done. You see, it's a trick. It's not done here. This is only a third wave. So then they chop it, and then they take off in the fifth wave. So yeah. So this is a good buy in here if you wanted to buy at that point. Right? But it's tricky because you're in a fourth wave, so you don't know if they're going to come down and take out this low, which you kind of would expect that they would take those lows, but they don't. And so that's CoreWeave, and the other one was MLGO, micro algo. Micro algo. Let's see how it looks on the daily. Whoa. Okay. 2 to 32. Wow. Should have told me about that on the 25th there of March.
Well, I didn't know anything about it on the 25th of March.
Of course not. The only people that know about this on the 25th of March are the insiders.
Yeah. Kind of
the
more
people
or less,
in the know about it down here. You only hear about it when it's up here, right? And then you jump in thinking, oh yeah, it's going to go. And then they...
Have you ever heard of a guy by the name of James Cameron, I think it is? Sorry, Ross Cameron.
No.
He's got a website called Warrior Trading. And
yeah, because it's all war.
He specializes in, let's see, what's the word?
What a ploy. Oh my goodness. This is just ruthless playing. So the guys who are in the know, they bought it, of course, in here and in here. They buy. And then, boom, take some profits.
Sure.
Buy some more. Boom.
I went back
take
to
all
look
your profits.
I went to look at how far down they've come since they opened. I think they go back 3-4 years, and I think they were $12,000 when they were.
Micro algo?
Yeah. You go to the yearly chart.
Yes. They were way up there.
14,000
some odd. That's crazy.
That's a big wick.
It's insane.
So that's where they might be going. I don't know.
Do not hold your breath on that one, because
No.
they really suckered everybody in here. So all these guys who bought down here sold up here and left the bag for these guys now who bought up here and now are crying and down at 16 again.
So is there a short again?
Yeah, so they're not done either. So this is very sneaky playing here, but that's typical of a stock. Yeah, it's really tough with the stocks. Yeah, so this looks like a fourth wave here. It looks like we still have more upside to go.
They're in the business of bespoke algorithms.
Yes, micro algo, very cool. So we look like we have a nice 1, 2, 3 here. So they're heading back to take out 32.
Wow.
Looking good. So a double. No, that's not really a double. 22 right now. So we would have had to buy it back down here. So that would have been a buy down on the. I can see it's a bit flat there though. It's a bit flat. So we need to take out this high. If they were to drop back and take out the lows, which is possible still, right? Then that would be a potential play like that. But if they go and they've taken out these guys. So if they take out these guys here, then you could possibly look for a move out like that. That's a possibility, you know, maybe even deeper. But I don't like the breakouts so much as I like the pullbacks. Pullbacks are better because you get better price, right?
Okay.
But this might not happen. This might not happen, but possible, but pretty
Yeah.
choppy.
Well, we'll see tomorrow, I guess.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
No problem. And anybody else? Everybody good?
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about trading like the Nikkei and what have you? Well,
The
mostly
Nikkei?
just the Nikkei.
What's the N? What's Nikkei symbol? N.
NKD.
Nikkei. It doesn't matter what you're trading. So like what I want you to understand is like it doesn't matter what the name is up here.
You like that.
And it doesn't matter what the time frame is up here. So just think of it as it's just a chart, right? So it doesn't matter what the name is or what it's just a chart. So look at it in that way, and then it doesn't matter what you trade. You see? So there's no. I would trade anything. It's just that we're concentrating on NASDAQ and Bitcoin, right? It doesn't really matter what the instrument is. It's all the same thing. It's all, we're still looking for our structure. You can clearly see it here, right? As soon as I saw this 1, 2, 3 on the daily here, and I see this drop, I'm looking for a retrace back up into something, right? To get to go down. I'm looking to take out this low. It's just the structure. It's all it is. It's just simple as that. But it's the playing of it that's tough, right?
Have you ever traded the Nikkei or
Oh yeah, I've traded
any of the other
yeah,
the European NASDAQs or what have you?
yeah, I've traded Nikkei and Hang Seng and all that, yeah. But again, it sticking to one or two, like how Peter, and Armand are sticking to Tesla. It's great, because you get used to what the instrument's doing, and it's easier. If you're jumping around too much to different things, you get lost because you don't know what it's doing. You need to kind of follow the structure all the time. And you can see, we get lost even in the NAS and so forth. Even we're playing it and we still get lost, right?
So you're more pattern as to because I tend to stick to times where the volatility is higher, so that way I know where I'm going to have some movement. But you're more so just the pattern itself as opposed.
Oh yeah, this is all about the structure. So I see a 1, 2 here. So once I see this move, if I'm playing on the daily, so this would be what we'd be looking at. It's the same thing as we're playing on the 1 minute. We're looking for them to break this low. They don't do it, in this case, right? But we still get our nice 1, 2. So as soon as I see that, I'm looking for an entry in that retrace, 50 to 62%. It's the same concept, right? All the time. So 50 to 62% retrace, I'm looking for an entry. So if I can find something that gives me that edge, the gap or whatever order block, great. But that's the play. So now I'm looking, okay, to come and take profits here or lower, because I know that this 1, 2, 3 is going to give me a move way down, because I can put the fibs on, and I know that if I put the fibs on, this is just like, I know I can get out down here, because as soon as I put the fib on this, I know exactly where I'm heading. 1.618 would take me, and see, it takes me even further down on this one. I don't have to go all the way down there. I can get out 1.414. I can get out 1.272. So a spike down like that, I'm out, type of thing. If I was playing on the daily, that is, right? So once that's done, then we're looking for another retrace of this guy, of this leg. But we only want to come back 38 to 50% this time, not 50 to 62, but 38 to 50% retrace of this move. So if we can get that in that area, and there's gaps here again, it's the same thing. So I'm looking to sell here to take out this low. So then I would be moving off I'd move off the this daily and look for, let's say in this area here, look for this a 1, 2, 3 right in here. So I can drop down to the 4 hour. There's a beautiful 1, 2, 3 on the 4 hour. I can drop down to the hourly, you know, that type of thing. You can go down lower and catch that move up there. So if you can catch an entry, so you get a better entry if you drop down to the hourly. So there it is, same thing, looking for that same play, entry down, right? So once you know where you are on the daily, that you're at this level, you're looking for to go down, you're just looking to come in on the lower time frame and catch the same pattern. It's always the same pattern, okay? Always.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for all the time.
Okay.
And I will jump in. You know what I'm showing you guys. I jump in on the fractal because I don't have to wait for this retrace. I can just jump in on the fractal here. And the reason that the fractal is great is because you get a better entry overall. So once you see a fractal like this fractal right here, 3 candles, you can jump in on the fractal. And by jumping on the fractal there, it's the same as if I waited for that anyways, because it did come back up right where I entered, right where I would have entered anyways, right? So it's the same, but I get my risk is less because, well, it will be the same in this case, right? If I put my stop above that high. So I'm trying to reduce my risk here by using the fractal. But you take a risk, of course, by jumping in on the fractal. But it's a smaller risk usually. So that's all I'm doing all the time, right? So it doesn't matter what the instrument is at all. If I go to Euro US dollar and I go to the daily time frame, it's the same thing. I'm looking for the structure. So if I can see the lowest point on the chart on the daily, there's my 1, 2. I can see it clearly. So if I get a 1, 2 here, I know that I'm looking for an entry 50 to 62% of that move. So 50 to 62% area again, right? And if I can get my entry in anywhere in there, and if there's gaps and so forth, great. But without, whether it has gaps or not, it doesn't matter. It's just a 1, 2, 3 that I'm looking at. Then you get another one, another opportunity. Then you get another one, another opportunity. So there's three of them right there, and then you get the move, right? So if you got in here, you're good. If you got in here, you're good. If you got in here, you're good. If you got in 3 times, you're great, and you catch the move. Because you're expecting that move, right? It's an expectation. No guarantees, but it's an expectation that we get in this move. And so I'd be looking to take profits using my fibs again at 1.618. So I would look to 1.618. I get out at 1.618. Where is that? And that will be my target, 1.618. That's great, right? Nothing wrong with that move on a daily time frame. But look how many days I have to sit in here. If I got in down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 20 days. That's investing. You're investing, right?
Yeah.
We come down to the 1 minute time frame. We do this. This would be like 20 minutes on a 1 minute time frame, right? That's trade. That's that's scalping, trading, right? Not investing. So that's the difference with the time frames, but it doesn't matter what the instrument is. Don't even look at it that way at all.
Okay, I find it harder to trade during like the Asian sessions or what have you. I can trade during the New York sessions when the New York session is open, but whenever I try to trade like the Asian sessions, I don't know, I just can't. I don't see the patterns as clearly. Maybe it's because
what they're doing in the Asian session is like we had a move like today. We get a move up like this. So the Asian session, we're usually in the 4th wave. So that's why it's hard to trade. They're trading in a area of ups and downs, as it were. And so it's very difficult in Asia. So what they're doing in Asia is usually they're going to induce the traders. So after, if we get A, B, C, D, they're going to push D up to induce guys to go long. And that takes everybody, all the sellers out here. And then they drop it down after that and take all the buyers out, and then they leave. That's it. That's what they're doing. So if you can wait out Asia until really close to London, you can catch this move and stay out of this mess in here. But during this period here, you can make money by going down to the lower time frames and just catching the structure moves. But it's very difficult. I don't mind it. I go in there and play, but it's tough because you're usually in a fourth wave range in Asia. Okay. So if we go back to NAS and go up to the hourly, so we're looks like we're pushing higher into this large gap that we have. So we just touched the middle of it. Looks like they want to go up and take out the high again. So more than likely what they're going to do now is just slide sideways for the remainder of the session. So we had a nice push up. They're probably going to go and take that high and just kind of, slice up and down like that. Go into a range. So you can see what already we're in a fourth wave area, right? This is what more than likely what we're going to do. That's why it's difficult playing an Asia session.
Okay. Well, yeah. Yes, that's probably it.
And it's similar to what happens to us at 1 o'clock. They kind of put us in a range as well because all the excitement of the morning, same kind of thing. They push price up. Do all the big moves are right at 9:30, and you get that move, and then around lunchtime they start chopping it up again. It's the same kind of thing as Asia. So it's tough, but this is a good learning experience for everybody because if you can play it through this stuff, then you can catch the good moves out of it. It's really nice, right? It's not easy, as you can see, right? Clearly see, it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I've been doing pretty well so far.
That's great.
But I still have my bad days.
As we all do. I mean, it's just the way it is, right? Yeah, if we could only not lose, eh? Ideal. That's what my goal is every time when I trade, not to lose, but it's very difficult, right? Very difficult. So.
All right.
Yeah. Well, continued success, Marky. And I hope that what I'm showing you guys helps, and you'll start to see it even more clearly, and yeah, that's it.
All right, I'll try. I try to just kind of focus on the big picture as opposed to kind of getting lost in the fake outs and what have you.
Yes. All right.
All right,
George, you still with me?
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks again for dropping in, Marquis. Also, thank you, and continued success. Really, just keep at it, and yeah. All right. So have a good one, George. We'll see you on the morrow. So remember, there's news first thing in the morning there, 8:15.
Yeah, 8:15.
That should be. I won't be up for that. So take care.
All right, catch you guys tomorrow.
Everyone.
All right. Bye now.